Welcome to Eastern Brush, Western Seoul, a journey through brush, ink, and the visual spirit of East Asia. Though we usually explore classical ink painting and timeless texts, today we're presenting something different. A unique photographic treasure from the 1930s and 40s. Hedda Morrison's China photo album series captures China's landscapes, people, and daily life through the lens of German photographer Hedda Morrison, offering a rare artistic window into a world long past. This special collection will be featured in our Artistic Encounters East Meets West playlist. These 6 albums are titled in order: City Views, Shandong Province, Yungang, Datong Prefecture, Rehe, Jehol, the Imperial Palace in Beijing, and American China photographs. Now we begin with the first section, City Views. Here, as we browse through the pages of City Views, we're opening the first of 6 albums in Hedda Morrison's China. This is a remarkable photographic album series created by the German photographer Hedda Hammer Morrison during her years living and working in China between 1933 and 1946, a period of tremendous change in Chinese society, culture, architecture, and daily life. Together, they contain 884 photographs, many with handwritten German captions, and are now preserved in the Harvard-Yenching Library at Harvard University as an important historical and artistic archive. As you flip through the City Views images, you'll see diverse scenes of street life, buildings, marketplaces, and ordinary people, visual snapshots of a China that in many cases has since disappeared or changed dramatically. I'll be guiding you through some highlights, but feel free to pause the video anytime to examine the photographs and the photographer's handwritten notes more closely. Shandong Province. Now we turn the page and enter the second section, Shandong Province. Shandong is one of the regions Hedda Morrison explored beyond Beijing. This section holds photographs showing architectural details, townscapes, and the rhythms of daily life in Shandong's cities and countryside. It reflects Morrison's growing confidence as a documentary photographer, blending artistic composition with rich cultural observation. Morrison began her professional photography career in Beijing in 1933, initially working for Hartung's photo shop. After 1938, she became a freelance photographer, providing photographic services to expatriates, artists, and travelers. During these years, she traveled extensively on her own, venturing beyond Beijing to places such as the Western Hills, Shandong, and Chengde. The images she brought back combined documentary detail with artistic sensitivity. Her preferred equipment included a Rolleiflex medium-format twin-lens camera and a larger 9x12 centimeter Linhof Satz plasmat used for architectural photography, enabling her to produce images of exceptional clarity and composition. As we turn each page of the Shandong Province album, pay attention to how Morrison captures both the monumental gates, temples, and walls, and the everyday street vendors, villagers, and public gatherings. Yungang, Datong Prefecture. Now we've reached the third section, Yungang, Datong Prefecture. Yungang is famous for its ancient Buddhist grottos, and here you'll see Morrison's documentation of that region's landscapes and religious architecture. What's striking in these images is not just the site itself, but how Morrison frames these cultural treasures within broader human and environmental contexts. Unlike many other Western photographers of her time, Morrison's long-term residence in Beijing gave her a deep familiarity with local life and culture that truly shines through in her work. She developed a genuine affection for the city and its residents, and this emotional depth infuses her photographs with sensitivity and respect. As you look through the Yungang photographs, notice the textures of stone and rock, the play of light and shadow in the caves, and the thoughtful compositions that bring both art and ethnography together. At this halfway point in our walkthrough, I hope you're beginning to feel transported by Morrison's lens. Seeing China in the 1930s and 40s not just as places and buildings, but as living, breathing communities with vibrant daily rituals. Now we've reached the fourth section. Here in the Rehe album, you'll see scenes from a region in northeastern China that was historically known as Jehol. These images bring us landscapes, temples, local settlements, and glimpses of everyday life beyond the cosmopolitan centers. As we turn each page, you can feel Morrison's consistent eye for both the environment and the people she encountered, a blend of documentary curiosity and artistic composition. The Hedda Morrison's China series is a remarkable set of 6 themed photographic albums created by Hedda Hammer Morrison, 1908 to 1991, a German documentary photographer who lived and worked in China from 1933 to 1946. Over these 13 years, she produced a large body of photographs that document everyday life, urban and rural landscapes, architectural sites, social customs, and cultural environments in Republican-era China. As you watch this section unfold, imagine Jehol as it was, a frontier of cultural exchange and natural beauty caught forever through Morrison's lens. The Imperial Palace in Beijing. Now we turn the page into the fifth section, the Imperial Palace in Beijing. In this album, Morrison's camera enters one of the most iconic cultural treasures of China, the Forbidden City, also known as the Palace Museum. And home to emperors of the Ming and Qing dynasties for centuries, this vast palace complex has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1987 and is one of the best preserved historic sites in the world. Morrison's photographs here capture paths, courtyards, gates, palace walls, and the texture of daily life around this imperial heart of Beijing. Her images not only show architectural form, rooftops, moats, and ceremonial spaces, but also document how people moved through and around this monumental space at a time when tradition and modernity were both in flux. As you explore these pages, take a moment to reflect on how these images preserve layers of history, not just stone and timber, but memory and culture. Finally, we arrive at the sixth section, American China photographs. This last album is particularly extensive, containing approximately 348 images. It records a broader range of travel and personal experiences, not only within China, but also from Morrison's journeys abroad. It includes some photographs of Hedda and her husband, Alistair Morrison, and a few images that may have been taken by other photographers. The subjects here are varied. Snapshots of urban streets and rural scenes, moments aboard the Japanese ocean liner Manila Maru, and even photographs involving German soldiers and Nazi officials, a reminder that these images were made in a global context of upheaval and movement. Together, these 6 albums, now part of the Hedda Morrison collection at the Harvard-Yenching Library, Harvard University, contain nearly 900 photographs, many with handwritten annotations. They were creatively assembled by Morrison herself, reflecting both her documentary intent and her aesthetic eye. This collection is part of a larger Hedda Morrison Photographs of China archive that includes thousands of negatives and prints, all cataloged and digitized at Harvard-Yenching Library, which holds over 5,000 photographs and 10,000 negatives from her years in Beijing and beyond. This archive has become an invaluable resource for scholars and enthusiasts of Chinese history, visual culture, and photography. Morrison's photography is appreciated not only for its documentary significance, but also for its artistic quality. Her sensitive compositions, attention to detail, and deep engagement with her subjects have made her one of the most significant Western photographers working in China in the early 20th century. Before we finish, I want to share a quick note about how we approached this album. We didn't walk through every single photo one by one with detailed historical explanations. Frankly, as we flipped through these albums ourselves, what struck us most was the sense of journeying through time, a feeling of moving with history rather than dissecting every street and every face. These images belong to a bygone era, and sometimes the story in a single picture is too vast to capture in a short narration. If you find a particular photo that piques your curiosity, please feel free to pause the video and explore the historical context on your own. There's a lot of fascinating material out there. Our aim is simply to share and appreciate what we found meaningful from these albums, from the perspective of amateur ink painting and history lovers, not as professional historians. We want to be clear and humble in what we do. This channel is not a commercial venture, and we do not make money from these videos. We all have our own careers and lives outside of this channel, and this sharing is purely a hobby. Something we do because we love exploring art, culture, and history together. So let's keep this space open, respectful, and curious, without drama or needless criticism. Thank you for watching and taking this visual journey with us.